I always told my students, the Holocaust is, it's something with a very negative course. And it is. There's always, but it's also a very, very positive course, too. Because, I used to do an exercise in the very first day of the course. The Holocaust is about blank. Fill in the blank. And I would go around the room. And, of course, the students would come up with racism, oppression, death, genocide, And I said, yeah, okay, come on. So give me some more things. And sometimes they would get it. Sometimes they wouldn't. Think outside of the box. And someone maybe would say, the Holocaust is about family. The Holocaust is about love. The Holocaust is about solidarity. The Holocaust was about, and my point was, we would generate this huge list of negative and very, very positive things to see that the whole spectrum of the human experience is expressed during that time period, from the very worst to the very best, and everything in between. And one of the themes I stressed with them was the Holocaust is about choice, and that everyone involved made choices. Perpetrators made choices, bystanders made choices. Now, of course, sometimes they had limited options. Rescuers made choices, and even, of course, victims made choices. Not about being a victim, but as victims, they had to make choices all the time. What we call choiceless choices. Okay. And this was a great way to understand why people would do the things they did and so forth. So what you see, so I began, more I took out positive things. For example, one of the most cynical stories you can take out of the Holocaust is about the United States and the Holocaust. And how the United State Department, I'll simplify this very quickly, it wasn't just indifference. They covered up, they suppressed information about the Holocaust, and they tried to obstruct efforts to rescue Jews during the Holocaust. This is not just indifference. This was active opposition. And there were people who weren't Jews, who were in the Treasury Department, who were Christians, who uncovered this. Josiah Du Bois, for example, was the main one. And decided they cannot let this stand. They had to do something about this, and they documented it. In fact, Josiah Du Bois, on Christmas Day, I believe it was, 1944, 43, I'm sorry, 43, okay, wrote this tremendous piece about this government's acquiescence in the murder of the Jews. And he took it to his boss, who was Jewish, Henry Morgenthau, who was Roosevelt's Treasury Secretary, and Morgenthau took it to the president. This was January of 44, and basically said, you've got to do something about this. And what happened? Finally, the United States government, very belatedly, in January 1944, set up the War Refugee Board, which was designed to, they didn't say they used the word Jew, by the way, but it was designed, supposed to do what it could. It was very late, of course, in the Holocaust, but they had some great successes, including, it was the War Refugee Board that sent Raoul Wallenberg, the Swedish diplomat, to Hungary, who saved almost single-handedly tens of thousands of Jews. But the point I wanted to make there was that here were these Christian men who were safe, they had no vested interest, and they chose to speak up, they chose to maybe even risk their not their lives, of course, but their occupations. Because Du Bois said that he would have won public had Roosevelt not done something about it. Okay. And they made a choice. And it shows you how individual choices can affect change. And this was a very positive story, because these guys, I told my students, they're real heroes. They're real heroes. And they had not chosen to do what they did, we're talking about still, millions of people dying, but so there's a lot of positive things that can be told in a very, very sad and overall negative kind of story.